Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. And I'm really happy to have this vocabulary lesson because I've been deciding to introduce the 400 most used verbs in French. And so we'll start with this video, and I will introduce, 40 verbs, and then, there will be 10 videos like that just to complete the whole 400 list of verbs. Okay, so let's start now. So, the verbs, les verbes. Être. Okay, so remember that when you get this accent circonflexe here, you should really pronounce it openly. So, être. Okay, don't insist on the final être. Avoir. Faire. Dire. Same thing here, you don't insist on the final okay, dire. Pouvoir, okay, remember when you combine this O and U, you get the sound OU, okay, and when you combine this O and I here, you get the sound OUA, okay, so pouvoir, pouvoir. Aller, okay, R at the end, when you combine then you pronounce it E, aller. Voir, okay, same thing here, OI, OA, voir. Vouloir, okay, OU, OU, and then OI, OA, so vouloir, okay. Venir. Remember when you get this without any accent, normally the sound is really like so venir, venir. Devoir. Prendre. Okay, remember combination of and n. It's what we call nasal, so it goes in your nose and it's en. Prendre. Okay, don't insist on the final Trouver. Donner. Falloir. Parler. Mettre. Okay, so here you get this and then you get double T here. Okay, so the thing when you get this double consonant, so it must be the same, just after this then it will open the sound of so you will get the sound E. That's the reason why you will pronounce mettre, mettre. Don't insist on the final Savoir. Passer. Regarder. Aimer. Okay, remember when you combine A and I, then you get the sound E. Really open, E. Aimer. Croire. Demander. So same thing here, remember, demander. And here you get this nasal here, A-N, en. Demander. Demander. Rester. Répondre. Okay, remember, accent aigu like that. So when the accent is going in that direction and it's just above the it will produce the sound E. Répondre. Don't insist on the final here. Entendre. Okay, so nasal here, en, and then the same one, temps. Entendre. Penser. Arriver. Connaître. Okay, so you get this accent circonflexe on the top of E here, but then, you don't pronounce it, okay, so don't be afraid by this accent circonflexe because you won't pronounce it. And then you will see that, if you can check the conjugation forms, you can see that it will disappear in some forms, okay? So it doesn't really, anyway, phonetically it doesn't exist, and then after that, don't bother too much with this accent circonflexe, okay? Connaître. Devenir, okay? So same thing, remember, okay? Devenir. Sentir. Sembler. Alright, so remember that when we combine this EM like that, and then after that you've got a consonant, then you will get the nasal sound as well. So EM will give you the sound en. Okay, so you don't pronounce the M, you just get the sound en. Sembler, sembler. Okay, combination of B and L, ble, ble, sembler. All right. Tenir, comprendre. Okay, exactly the same thing here. You've got OM, and after that you've got a consonant, so you will get the sound on, nasal. Okay, you don't hear any M here. Okay, it's on. Comprendre, rendre, attendre, sortir, vivre, entrer, reprendre, porter. And that's it for the first part of this big list of verbs. Okay, so if you want more videos, then youtube.com/imagier, and then the website is waiting for you, and it's right here. Have a great day. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent, and this is the second part of our big list of the 400 most used verbs in French. Okay, so let's start right now. Chercher. So this one can be quite tricky, especially at the beginning, because technically if you look carefully, well, you've got two actually identical parts here, so here and here, but then strangely you won't pronounce them the same way. So this first part here, C-H-E-R, you will pronounce it quite open, so it's cher, cher. Okay, and then here, just because you've got this ER at the end, okay, if you remember, the rule goes like ER at the end will be pronounced E, okay, so you get chez, all right, so chercher, chercher, okay, and the difficulty normally is, well, also in the repetition of sh, okay, chercher, chercher. Revenir. Okay, remember that is pronounced really like a. Revenir. Revenir. Appeler. Alright, so the funny thing here is that you don't really insist on this okay, so if you listen carefully, it's just like if it wouldn't be here. Appeler. Appeler. Mourir. Okay, so same thing that we saw previously. O-U here, when you combine the two, you get the sound OU. Okay, so mourir. Partir. Jeter. Okay, so here, really this je, and then et. Jeter. Suivre. Okay, so this can be quite tricky for the English-speaking persons, because normally this U sound is quite tricky to make at the beginning. After that, you can see that, well, you can make it, but then try to focus on it. So it's suivre, suivre, suivre. All right. Then écrire. So remember, you've got this accent aigu on the top of e, so it will produce the sound e. Écrire. Don't insist on the final e. Montrer. All right, so on, on, montrer. Tomber. Okay, so remember, you've got OM here, but after that you've got a consonant, so it does mean that this combination of OM will give you the sound on. Okay, you don't pronounce the M at all, so it's really a nasal, so it goes in your nose. Tomber. Ouvrir. Arrêter. Okay, remember, when you get this accent circonflexe on the top of E, then you get the sound E. Okay, so it's really open. It's E. Okay, so arrêter. And then final R here, as usual, E. Arrêter. Arrêter. Okay, then perdre. Commencer. All right, so you get this comment, so really N here, it's nasal, you know, en, and then C, commencer. Paraître, okay, so if you remember from the first video, then we had as well this accent circonflexe on the top of E here, but then you don't pronounce it, okay, so you should write it definitely, because you know that's the correct way to write it, but then you don't pronounce it. Paraître, okay, same thing, final E is not really pronounced, so paraître. Marcher. Okay, remember when you combine this C and H here, you get the sound sh, marcher. Okay, final ER as usual, et, cher. Marcher. Lever. Permettre. Alright, remember double T here, okay, so when you've got a double consonant, and it should be the same consonant, and before, it will open the sound of this so you don't pronounce it like but you will pronounce it like okay, so permettre, final not really pronounced. Asseoir, okay, remember you've got this beautiful but then phonetically doesn't exist. Asseoir, remember double S here, it's really strong s, really strong S, okay, so asseoir. Écouter. Monter. Apercevoir. Recevoir. Servir. Finir. Rire. Crier. Okay, so it can be quite tricky at the beginning, especially if you try to make this air too deep in your throat. So don't go, I mean, don't hurt your throat, because it can be quite painful. So when you combine this C and R, you get the sound cr. Okay, so crier. Okay, but not too strong. Crier. Jouer. Okay, remember you combine this O and U, you get the sound OU, so joue. Okay, J is pronounced like J, joue, and then ER here, you combine them at the end, et, jouer. Tourner. Same thing here, if you listen carefully, tourner. R is not that strong. Tourner, okay? Garder. Reconnaître. So exactly the same thing with this accent circonflexe on the top of E. You don't pronounce it, okay, but you should write it. Reconnaître. Quitter. Okay, it's quite interesting because in French, when you put this Q here, and then you want to put another vowel after, so like E, O, or I mean the others, you should and you have to put this U vowel between the two, okay? But then you don't pronounce it. So the idea is that this combination of Q and U together will give you the sound K, okay? So that's the reason why you get qui like that, qui, quitter, all right? Manger. So remember here, nasal, an, en, man, and then when you combine this G and then E, or here ER, G, manger. Courir. Continuer. All right, so here, nasal, continue, remember, U, and then E. Continuer. Oublier. Descendre. Well, even if you've got this combination of S and C here, you just pronounce it S. Descendre. Cacher. Okay, so remember, when you combine this C and A, you get the sound K, okay? And then chez, caché. Poser. Tirer. Okay, and that's it for this video. If you want more videos, then the channel is here and the website is waiting for you, imagier.net. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent, and this is a vocabulary lesson. It's the third part of our 400 most used verbs in French language list. Okay, so let's start right now. Les verbes. Présenter. Okay, remember when we get this accent aigu like that on the top of sorry, then you should pronounce it e. All right, and then you combine the two n nasal en. Présenter. Okay. Ajouter. So remember, J is really pronounced like J. Ajouter. Agir. Retrouver. Okay, here, like that without any accent, it's really pronounced like retrouver. Offrir. Apprendre. All right, so combination of and n gives you this nasal en, okay, and then prend, apprendre. Tuer. All right, remember, U is really pronounced like U, so it's not OU, but it's U, okay? Tuer, tuer. Retourner. Rencontrer. All right, so keep in mind, en, on, on, rencontrer. Rencontrer. Envoyer. Okay, so it's quite interesting because you've got this Y here, all right? But then if you get one vowel before, one vowel after, then it will change, like if it would be E here, one, and then a second E here. So you get the sound O-I, so it's wa, and then you get the sound I and ER, it's ye. Envoyer. Okay? Envoyer. Dormir. Pousser. All right, remember one vowel, and then double S here. So the sound that you should produce is really strong. It's s, okay? Pousser. Rappeler. Okay, remember this here is not really pronounced. Rappeler. Lire. Changer. Okay, when you combine this C and H, you get the sound sh. And after that, you've got your nasal en, chan, and then g. Changer. Essayer. So exactly the same concept as we had previously. So you've got your Y here, but then just consider that you've got one E here with the A, so it will produce the sound E, okay? And then you've got another E here, and then you get the sound Y. Essayer, essayer, essayer. Compter, all right? So OM, really like a nasal here, on, and then this P is not pronounced. Compter. Occuper. You don't pronounce the double C here, so it's really like occuper. Expliquer. Frapper. Travailler. Okay, remember when you've got this E and then double L here and the vowel after. Y, y. Travailler. Travailler. Okay, travailler. Travailler. obtenir. Pleurer. Okay, remember here you've got this E and U, it's E. Pleu, pleu, and then ré. Pleurer. Répéter. Payer. Okay, as we had previously, you've got this Y, so just consider that you will have one E here, and then you combine the two, you get E, and then you get the second E here, and you combine these letters, sorry, and you get the sound Y, okay? Payer, payer. Apporter. Exister. Okay, so it's really this X here, it's pronounced like X, X, exister. Boire. Okay, remember O-I, wa, bois, boire. Sourire. Coucher. Causer. Raconter. Serrer. All right, so interesting here because you get this E and then double R after that. So it will open the sound of E, okay? So you will pronounce it like E. Serrer. Serrer. Songer. Manquer. Okay, remember when we get this Q, after that automatically we get this U, but then we don't pronounce the U, okay? So manquer. So it's really que. Manquer. Nommer. Conduire. Okay, remember duire. Conduire. Conduire. Saisir. All right, when you combine A and I, you get the sound E. Saisir. Demeurer. Remettre. And that's it for this third part of the 400 most used verbs in the French language. More videos can be found here, youtube.com/imagier, and then the website imagier.net is waiting for you. Have a great day. Bye bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent, and this is the part number 4 of this big concept that I've been having, the 400 most used verbs in French, okay? So, les verbes, and it starts right now. Disparaître, okay? So remember that we've got this accent circonflexe on the top of I, but then phonetically we don't pronounce it, so we get disparaître, disparaître. Battre. Toucher. Okay, remember you combine this O and U, you get the sound OU, and then C and H, sh. Toucher. Apparaître. Okay, so exactly the same situation here with this circumflex. You don't pronounce it. Remember to write it, but you don't pronounce it. Apparaître. Souffrir. Okay, so double F is not pronounced. Okay, so souffrir. Fermer. Accepter. Naître. Okay, same thing here for the circumflex. Write it, but don't pronounce it. Naître. Sauver. Okay, remember when you combine A and U, you get the sound O. So really like the letter O. Okay, so sauver, sauver. Avancer. Okay, when you combine A and N, you get the nasal en, avancer. Okay. Traverser. Souvenir. Okay, O and U, you get OU, souvenir. Okay, here is really pronounced like souvenir. Couvrir. Gagner. Okay, so it's interesting because when you combine this G and A, you get the sound ga. All right, ga. Okay, and then when you've got this G and N, you get the sound N, okay, and E. So, gagner, gagner, gagner. Former. Plaire. Okay, remember A and E together will produce the sound E, plaire. Embrasser. All right, M here, and then you've got a consonant after, so you get the nasal en. So you don't hear any M, it's really in your nose. Embrasser. All right, and then double S here, it's S. Embrasser. Oser. Okay, it's interesting here because you've got only one S between two vowels, and normally the pronunciation you will get when you've got only one S, it's Z, okay? Oser, all right? If you would have deux S instead, you will pronounce it ose, okay? But in that case, you've got only one S, and that's the rule. One S between two vowels will produce the sound Z, oser, okay? Empêcher. Okay, remember, accent circonflexe on the top of here goes like E. All right, nasal here, en, pe, and then you've got this ch, and it produces this sh sound. Empêcher. Empêcher. Refuser. Décider. Okay, accent aigu, et décider. Produire. Okay, remember, difficult thing here. U, produire. Produire. Charger. Mêler. Okay, remember, accent circonflexe here on the top of E, and it will give you the sound E, really open, okay? Mêler. Espérer. Cesser. All right, so double S here, as I said previously, and you've got two vowels, so it's really strong. It's S, cesser. Ressembler. Chanter. Okay, remember, C and H here, sh, and then AN, nasal, en. Chanter. Approcher. Prier. Échapper. Glisser. Remember, double S here, vowel, vowel, so it's really strong. S, okay? And then when you combine this G and L here, you get the sound gl, gl. Glisser. Briller. All right, so here, I and then double L, so you get the sound y, y, y. Briller. Briller. Brûler. All right, so remember to write this circumflex on the top of U, but then you don't pronounce it, so phonetically it doesn't exist, and it's brûler. Placer. Juger. All right, so first you've got this J and U, ju, and then you get G and E here. So normally the sound when you combine the two, it's j, j, but then ER at the end, et. Juger, juger. Atteindre. So remember when you combine this E-I-N together, you get the sound un. Atteindre, atteindre. Annoncer. Élever. All right, so don't pronounce this here. Élever, élever. Acheter. Same thing here, we don't insist on this so acheter, acheter. And that's it for this part number 4, okay? Remember that I will go till the end, so 400 verbs. If you want more videos, then youtube.com/imagier, and then the website is here, imagier.net. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent, and this is the part number 5 of the 4 most used verbs in the French language. So we'll discover 40 new verbs now. Mener. Okay, so remember when you get this like that without any accent, so it should be pronounced okay, so it goes like mener. Préparer, all right, accent aigu on the top of préparer. Assurer, all right, you get two vowels here, but then double S, so it should be really strong. S, assurer. Deviner. Considérer, okay, same thing here, you get this accent aigu, and then the sound is E. Considérer. Considérer. Appartenir, okay, double P, basically you don't pronounce the double, so you just pronounce appa. Appartenir. Représenter, all right, remember that you get this N together, and then, well, it's a nasal, so it goes in your nose, and it's en, so représenter. Représenter. Tromper, okay, same thing here. OM, so, and after that you get a consonant, so technically you will pronounce it like a nasal here. OM will go like on. Tromper, tromper. Vendre. Craindre. So it's quite interesting here because you get this combination of letters, so A, E, and then N, okay, so it will be a nasal as well, and then it will be pronounced like un, so keep in mind that it goes in your nose, so you don't hear any N when I pronounce it, and then C plus R will produce the sound craindre. Emporter, okay, same thing here for the nasal, emporter. Exprimer. Rouler, okay, remember when you get this O and U together, you get the sound OU, okay, rouler. Posséder, all right, here remember one vowel, two vowels here, before and after, double S, really strong S. S, posséder, posséder. Réveiller, all right, E and then double L and the vowel after, y sound. Réveiller, réveiller. Aider, all right, combination of A and E together will produce the sound aider. Découvrir. Choisir, okay, remember when you combine this C and H, you get the sound sh, and then OI, wa, okay, choix, and then zir, choisir. Prononcer. Rêver, okay, accent circonflexe, so this accent on the top of okay, will produce the sound really open one, okay, so rêver. Appuyer. Étendre. Trembler, okay, same thing here, nasal, M, okay, trembler, okay, no pronunciation of the M, trembler. Défendre. Créer. So it's quite interesting, sorry, here, because first you will have this CRE accent aigu, so you get the créer sound, and after that you get this ER sound, so E. So technically you will have this double E sound, créer, okay, so it's longer, créer, all right? Maintenir, so remember A, I, N together will produce the sound un, maintenir, don't insist on the E, maintenir. Indiquer, all right, keep in mind that when you get this Q and U after, and obviously a vowel, then U is not pronounced at all, okay, so it's K here, you don't pronounce the U. Indiquer. Promettre. Relever, okay, so first re, then we don't insist on this here. So, relever, relever. Abandonner. Ignorer. So it's quite interesting here because you get this G and N here. So, ignorer. Accompagner. Adresser. Okay, remember only one D in French. Observer. Okay, so you've got first the ob, then ser, then v. Observer, observer. Séparer. Marier. Prévoir. Okay, remember O and E together, you will get the sound wa, 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 wa. Voir here, and then pré. Prévoir. Amener. Don't insist on the E here because you don't really pronounce it. Amener. Amener. Obliger. Okay, remember when you get G and after that the vowel E, then you pronounce it J. Okay, and then here, well, R at the end, as usual, you pronounce it E, G. Obliger. Obliger. Éclairer. Okay, C and L together, you will pronounce this cl, cl. Éclairer. And that's it for this part numéro 5. So if you want more videos, then youtube.com/imagier and the website is here. Have a great day. Bye bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. And this is the part number 6 of our big thing. And it's the 400 most used verbs in French language. Okay, so we'll start and discover together 40 new verbs. Okay, les verbes. So let's start now. Poursuivre. Okay, so remember that when you get this combination of O and U, you will get the sound OU. Okay, so pour, and then U and I here, UI. Okay, poursuivre. Don't insist on the final E. Livrer. So quite easy, remember V and R, vr, livrer. Contenir. Okay, so here we've got this O and N together, so nasal, on, and then E. Contenir. Contenir. Fuir. Okay, it can be quite tricky, especially for English-speaking persons and Spanish-speaking persons as well. This U sound. Okay, so it's not OU, it's really narrow. It's U. Okay, fuir. Fuir. Couler. Okay, so here combination of O and U will produce the sound OU. Couler. Proposer. Okay, so proposer. Remember, 2 vowels here and only 1 S, so you will get the sound Z. Okay, proposer. Éprouver. Retenir. Okay, so normally in that situation, well, you've got to pronounce this re, okay, but then you don't insist too much on this here, so it goes like retenir, retenir. Attacher. Okay, you don't pronounce the double T, okay, ata, but then remember, C and H together, they will produce this sh sound. Attacher, attacher. Voler. Entraîner. Alright, so first you get the nasal here, en, and then you get this accent circonflexe on the top of E, but then it doesn't change at all the pronunciation, so just consider that it's just a normal E, okay? But then if you combine it with A, then these 2 letters will produce the sound E, okay? So, entraîner, entraîner. Surprendre. Briser. Okay, same thing here. 1 vowel, 2 vowels, and only 1 S between the 2, so you get the sound Z. Briser. Imaginer. Diriger. Parvenir. pénétrer. Okay, remember here, accent aigu and then accent aigu. So you pronounce it E. Pénétrer. Okay, so pénétrer. Remarquer. Okay, remember that when we've got this Q, and after that, well, vowel like here. Anyway, you've got to put this vowel U, even if you don't pronounce it. Okay, so it will go like que. Okay, remarquer, remarquer. Then éviter, établir, réussir. Okay, so here, vowel, second vowel here, and then double S. So in that case, you've got to pronounce it like a real strong S. S. Réussir, réussir. Okay. Pencher. Okay, remember, E-N nasal, pen, pencher. Okay, C and H together will produce the sound sh. Pencher. Okay. Habiter. Okay, remember that in French, the H, like that here, is not pronounced at all. Okay, so you don't pronounce it, so you get the first sound is the vowel A here. So habiter. Habiter. Entourer. Okay, nasal, en, then O and U together, ou, entourer, entourer. Déclarer. Étonner. Okay, so first you've got this accent aigu, et, and then you've got to, and then né. Étonner. Dresser. Okay, same thing here. Vowel, vowel, double S, so you pronounce it really strong like S, okay? Dresser. And then when you get a double consonant after you open the sound of the so it will be like E, dre, dresser. Durer. Fixer. Okay, remember X here, X, X. Fixer. Désirer. Arracher. Okay, don't pronounce the double R, sorry, it's just like if you would have only one. Arracher, arracher. Soutenir. Okay, so sous first, and then don't insist on this here. Soutenir, soutenir. Couper. Okay, when you combine this O and U together, you will get the sound OU. Okay, couper. Examiner. Okay, it's interesting here because you've got this X and then you pronounce it X. Examiner. Douter. Retirer. Okay, remember to insist, or not to insist, but to pronounce the like a here. Retirer. Promener. Okay, don't insist on this here. Okay, so it will go like promener, promener. Forcer. Revoir. Okay, remember to pronounce this like a revoir. O-E together is pronounced like wawa. Revoir. Remplir. Okay, E-M nasal, en, remplir. Okay, that's it for this lesson. If you want more videos, then youtube.com/imagier, and it's waiting for you, and the website imagier.net. Have a great day. Bye bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent. This is a vocabulary lesson and it's the part number 7 of our 400 most used verbs in the French language concepts, and so we'll discover together 40 new verbs, and here they come. Terminer. Tenter. Okay, remember when you get this N together, you get the nasal sound en, tenter. Remonter. Okay, first re, and then nasal here, on, on, remonter, remonter. Installer. First the nasal, in, installer, installer. Soulever. Okay, don't insist here on the so OU, you will get OU, soulever. Allumer. imposer. Okay, remember, em together like that, and a consonant after, you will get here the nasal sound. So it will go like un, imposer, imposer. Okay, only one S between the two vowels, so it's the sound z, imposer. All right. Respirer. Okay, so respirer, respirer. Baisser, okay? Here you've got one vowel, two vowels, and then if you look carefully, you've got two S, okay? So remember that the sound is a strong S, S, okay? Ba, okay, because A and E together will produce the sound E. Baisser, baisser. Souffler, okay? O and U will produce OU, sou, souffler. Attirer, okay? Don't pronounce the double T. You only pronounce this. Attirer, attirer. Prêter, okay? We've got here this accent circumflex on the top of E, so if you remember carefully, it will produce the sound E, so really open, E, so prêter, prêter. Amuser. Remember, amuser. Éclater, okay, here we've got this accent aigu, so E, and then C and L together, cl, cla, okay, éclater, éclater. Réunir, all right, so first you get ré, after that U, after that nir. Réunir, okay, it can be quite tricky at the beginning, so réunir. Traiter, okay, A and E together, est, traiter, traiter. Engager, okay, so remember that G is a tricky letter, because if you combine it with A, like it's the case here, you will pronounce it ga, okay, but if you combine it with like it's the case here, well, R here, the sound E, it will go like G, okay? Engager, engager. Traîner, okay? Accent circumflex here, so you should write it, but then keep in mind that you don't pronounce it, so it doesn't change the pronunciation of this combination of two letters, A and E together, it's E, okay? Traîner, traîner. Employé, remember, M, and then after that you've got a consonant, so it's here, it will be a nasal, so it will go like en, employé, employé. Marquer, okay, Q-U together, it's only the sound K, K, marquer, you don't pronounce the U. Prouver, okay, O and U together, ou, prouver, prouver. Importer, okay, IM, then a consonant, so it's the nasal un, importer, importer. Exiger, remember X here, X, exiger. Reposer, so first letter here, so first vowel, sorry, reposer, reposer. So here, vowel and vowel, only one S, it's Z. Reposer. Danser. Saluer. Okay, it can be quite difficult at the beginning. U here. Saluer. 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 Accorder. Achever. Okay, and then if you want to pronounce it the way French people will do, so don't insist too much on this and you will get H, achever, achever. It's a bit tricky, this combination of sh and v after, but then achever. Avouer, remember, O and U together, ou, avouer, avouer. Distinguer. Okay, so it's interesting here because if you see carefully, you've got this G, and after that here, you've got E. So normally, if you would have this G and E together, you would have the sound je. Okay, and the technique in French is to put this U between the two to get the sound G. Alright, so that's the reason why we've got here G, okay, because combination of E and R at the end will give you the sound E, okay, G. So that's the reason why we pronounce it distinguer and not distinguer, okay? So U is quite important here, just to give you the sound G, G, G. Distinguer, distinguer. Emmener. Agiter. Hésiter. Okay, remember that H doesn't exist, so we don't pronounce it, and the first thing you will pronounce is this vowel here, E accent aigu, E. Hésiter. Hésiter. Sonner. Composer. Okay, O and M together, after that a consonant, so it's the nasal on. Composer. Okay, you pronounce it Z here because you've got two vowels and only one S. Composer. Enlever. Okay, nasal here, en, and then don't insist on this here. Enlever. Enlever. Rejoindre. Okay, so when you get this O-I-N together here, you've got the ouin sound. Ouin, okay. Rejoindre. Rejoindre. Ramener. Okay, don't insist here on the E. Ramener. Étudier. Partager, okay, parta, and then here, G and E after, well, R in that case, it's the sound E, so you pronounce it J, G, okay, partager, partager. And that's it. Okay, more videos can be found on youtube.com/imagier, and the website is right here. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent, and this is the part number 8 of our big concept, the 400 most used verbs in French language. And so we'll discover together 40 new verbs, and here it comes. Chasser. Okay, so remember that when you put this C and H together, you get the sound sh, sha, and then here you've got a double S between the two vowels, so the S is really strong. S. Chasser. Interrompre. Éloigner. Okay, so here you've got this accent aigu on the top of E, so you will get the sound E, okay? And after that you've got this OI, OA, and then G and together, N. Éloigner. Éloigner. Réduire. Okay, try to insist on this U here because it can be quite tricky. Réduire. Réduire. Éteindre. Okay, keep in mind that when you get this E-I-N together, it will produce the sound un. Éteindre. Okay, don't insist on this final here. Éteindre. Recommencer. Okay, so first vowel here. Recommencer. Recommencer. Sauter. Okay, combination of A and U together will produce the sound O. So, sauter. Plaindre. Okay, when you combine this A-I-N, you will get the sound un. So really, this nasal sound in your nose. Plaindre. Préférer. Okay, here accent aigu, so E. Accent aigu, the same one, E as well, okay? Préférer. Préférer. Révéler, okay? Same scenario here. E and E. Révéler. Révéler. Subir. So when you start a word normally with S here, it's quite strong, so it's subir. Rapporter. Coûter. Okay, keep in mind that even if you've got this accent circumflex on the top of U, it doesn't change the pronunciation, so it doesn't change this combination of two vowels here, so it will be OU, okay? Coûter. Réfléchir. Okay, remember when you combine this F and L together, you get the sound fl, fl. Okay, réflé, and then combination of C and H, sh, shir. Réfléchir, réfléchir. Remercier. Déposer. Okay, only one S between two vowels, so the sound is Z. Déposer. Déposer. Fumer. Okay, so U here. U. Fu. Fumer. Affirmer. Okay, even if we've got two F, well, only one should be pronounced, so affirmer. Convenir. Okay, so the here is not really pronounced, so first you get this nasal, on, convenir, convenir. Vêtir, okay, accent circonflexe on the top of so it does produce the sound vêtir. Accomplir. Résoudre. Plonger. Okay, remember that here you've got these two letters, so pl together, on, plong, and then g and normally that's the sound j. Okay, so here you get, obviously, as usual, the ending er, so you pronounce it e. So plonger, plonger. Détruire. Intéresser. Okay, so remember here, first thing that you get to remember is that you get first here a vowel and then after that a vowel, two S between the two, so the sound is really strong, it's S, okay? And the second thing you should remember is as we've got double S, so double consonants, so identical consonants, after this the sound that you should pronounce for this is really open, so it's E. Intéressé. Intéressé. Disposer. Lisser. Same thing here. Double S. S. Lisser. Verser. Obéir. Okay, so it's quite interesting here because you will make the difference. You will make a little something between the two. O, B, and after that you get the ir, okay? Obéir. Lutter. Prétendre, okay? So first accent aigu, pré, and then tendre. Prétendre. Construire, okay? O-N together, nasal, construire. Construire, construire. Soumettre. Peser. Okay, remember first p, and then z. Only one S here between the two. Peser. Troubler. Répandre. Okay, so here you get this A-N combination, so the sound is en. Répandre, répandre. Résister. Protéger. Okay, so accent aigu et proté, and then remember G and ER at the end, so G. Protéger. Enfermer. Creuser. Okay, so C and R together, cre, and then E and U, creuser. Okay, that's it for this part. If you want more video lessons, then youtube.com/imagier, and then the website is right here, imagier.net. Have a great day. Bye bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent, and this is the part number 9 of our big concept of the 4 most used French verbs, and so we'll discover 40 new verbs now. Let's start. Grandir. So remember that when you get these G and R together, you get the sound gr, okay? And after that, A-N, en. grandir, grandir. Enfoncer, okay, so it can be quite tricky at the beginning because if you look carefully, first you've got this nasal, en, and after that you've got another on. Enfoncer, enfoncer. Envelopper. Prévenir, okay, remember that first you've got this accent aigu on the top of e, so here it's e, okay, and you don't insist on this here, so prévenir, prévenir. Inspirer. Ramasser. Remember, double S here between two vowels. Here you get a strong S sound, okay? Ramasser. Endormir, okay? Nasal here, en, and then dormir. Endormir. Inventer. Presser, okay? So double S, so the sound is really strong, S. And then because you've got this double S, then it will open the sound of your E, and you will get E. Presser, presser. Confier. Effacer. Reculer. User. Remember only one S here, and you get two vowels, so it's Z. User. Nourrir. Remplacer. So M together, and after that you've got a consonant, so it will be like a nasal, so like en. Remplacer. Remplacer. Souhaiter. So remember, in French we don't pronounce this H, okay? It doesn't phonetically exist here, so you've got sou, after that you've got e, and then t. Souhaiter. Souhaiter. Signer, okay? G and N together, gn. Signer, signer. Interroger. Dominer. Commander. Okay, remember A and N together, so it's nasal, en. Commander. Supposer. Dépasser. Accuser. You don't need to pronounce double C here, because normally we only pronounce this K. Accuser. Habiller. Okay, remember E, double L, and then a vowel, Y. Habiller. H is not pronounced. Habiller. Habiller. Condamner. Menacer. Écraser. Okay, double vowel, only one S, Z, and then you get the first accent aigu, écraser. Écraser. Réclamer. Okay, we combine this C and L together, you get cl, cla, okay, réclamer. Réclamer. Dessiner. Conclure. Lier. Okay, so it's interesting here because first you've got this li, and after that you get this a sound, you know, that normally we get when you get this er at the end of a word, or in most of the cases as of the verb, sorry. So you get lier, lier. Admettre. Okay, so admettre, admettre. Attaquer. Respecter. Pendre. Okay, so nasal here, en, en. Pendre, pendre. Supporter. Figurer. Okay, so here you get this G and U together without any vowel after, so you will pronounce this combination gu, sorry. Figurer. Figurer. profiter, calmer, satisfaire. Okay, so satis, and then remember A and E together will produce the sound E, so faire, satisfaire, satisfaire. And that's it for this video. So if you want more, then youtube.com/imagier, and of course the website is waiting for you, imagier.net. Have a great day. Bye bye. Bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent, and really happy because this is the last video of our 400 most used French verbs, and so we'll discover the 40 last verbs of this beautiful but long list. Okay, so let's start now. Valoir. So remember, when you combine this O and E together, you get the sound wa. Okay, so valoir, valoir. Signifier. Okay, it's quite strange, but remember that G-N-I, ni, signifier. It's quite tricky because you've got many E in this verb. Signifier, signifier. Inquiéter. Assister. Okay, remember, vowel, vowel, double S, really strong S. Assister. Inviter. Okay, I-N together, nasal, inviter, inviter. Déchirer, okay, C-N-H, sh, and after that you've got this I, chi. Déchirer, déchirer. Risquer, okay, remember what I told you when you get this Q, and after that you want to put a vowel like E, for instance, you will always need to put this U here between the two, but then you don't pronounce it. So the sound you will get here, for instance, is que. Okay, you don't pronounce the U, so risquer. Parcourir. Okay, O and U together, ou, parcourir, parcourir. Rejeter. Okay, so here the E is not really pronounced, so you get rej. Okay, so E pronounced like E. Rejeter. Rejeter. Renoncer. Okay, O and N together. On, renoncer. Renoncer. Veiller. Okay, remember when you get this I, double L, and then here it's E, Y. Veiller. Veiller. Transformer. Tracer. Contenter. Okay, nasal, on, and then en. Contenter. Contenter. Mériter. Précipiter. Rompre. Okay, O-M together, on. Rompre. Rompre. Étouffer. Animer. Casser. Double S between two vowels. S. Casser. Fonder. Franchir. Remember, C-N-H together, sh. Franchir. A-N, en. Franchir. Abattre. Discuter. Fatiguer. Okay, remember that we had this G and E normally, so G, E, R without the U should be pronounced like G. Okay, so if you want to modify the sound and then to have this G, okay, you will have to add this U between the two. So now you get G, okay, fatiguer. Consentir, nasal, consentir. Regretter. Joindre. Okay, remember O-I-N together. Ouin. Okay, joindre. Joindre. Vaincre. A-I-N together. Here it's un. Vaincre. C-N-R-C. Vaincre. Consulter. Haïr. Okay, so keep in mind that here you will pronounce it like I. Haïr. First H is not pronounced, okay, so haïr. Haïr. Repousser. Exécuter. Exposer. Voyager. Okay, so here you've got to remember that, as we saw previously, you've got this Y letter here, okay, and it will be transformed like if you would have deux I, okay, so the first one will be combined with this O, so you will get voix, voix, and then the second one will be connected and combined with this A, ya, okay, so you get voyager, voyager. Renverser. Rassurer. Retomber. Décrire. Mentir. And that's it. We've been seeing together 400 verbs, and they are the most used verbs of the French language. So if you want more videos, then youtube.com/imagier, and then the website is waiting for you here, www.imagier.net.